Beginning today, severe weather is back in the forecast with the intensity ramping up through the weekend as a precarious pattern sets up across the United States. We'll break all of that down, plus take a look at who is expected to see rain and where the drought conditions are expected to worsen over the next 2 weeks. We've got all of that and much more on today's video starting right now. Welcome into the only weather show that still drives a 1976 Chrysler Cordoba with rich Corinthian leather. Hat tip Ricardo Montalban. If you haven't seen Star Trek II, by the way, shame on you. Go check it out right after this video. I'm glad you're here, my friends. I'm Jason, been tracking the weather for over 4 decades and try to have a little bit of fun on the show. You come for the weather, stay for the fun and the learning. I try to pick out things that I think are interesting to you. Many people around the country like to talk about the weather, but not a lot of people really understand the different aspects of the weather and what they see going on outside of their windows. And so we try to spend a couple of minutes here teaching that. Makes us maybe a little bit different from other channels. Maybe the content's a couple of minutes longer at the end of the day, but you learn a lot more and you have some fun along the way too. What more can you ask for? Well, I'm glad you're here, and thank you. A special shout out to Renee, who made another contribution to the site. Thank you for the generosity there. I really appreciate that. Now we're going to start here with the satellite image. I think this is interesting today because we have a big swirly thing going across the Canadian border. Look at this. What is that? Well, that's a storm system up there bringing some rain, bringing wind behind a cold front here in the northern plains. That's going to sweep east over the next couple of days. And it's going to help to fire off some thunderstorms that could become severe later today. Got some clouds hanging around over the southern tier of the nation down through Florida, some high clouds here in the southeast and through the heartland up into the Mississippi Valley and Great Lakes. More clouds coming in across California, Oregon, and over into Washington and moving into the mountain and intermountain west. And off the picture, you can't really see that, but there's another swirl out here, and that's going to play a role in the weather later on as we head through the week. There's your surface map. There's that storm system moving north of the border, cold front coming through. That's going to be laid down across the northern part of the country and become a focus for showers and some thunderstorms, especially back into the plains later on as we approach the end of the work week. High pressure firmly in control up and down the eastern seaboard. Still got that front hung up over South Florida, looking at thunderstorms potentially today. Few thunderstorms back into parts of the central plains into the Great Lakes. Maybe a couple of sleet pellets, something like that, mixed in with your rain showers today, maybe a couple of snowflakes as well, but nothing major. Some freezing rain possible over the UP of Michigan, parts of Minnesota, and then some rumbles of thunder not out of the question in California later today. Here's your alert map. Not a lot going on. Freeze warnings are out of here in about an hour or so. More freeze watches expected. Will persist through tomorrow morning as temperatures in the Northern Virginia area, parts of the southern and mid-Atlantic look to get around freezing, maybe a couple of degrees below tonight. And wind advisories, of course, across the northern plains with a high wind warning here in central Montana, looking at gusts 40s, 50s, and even 60s in some spots. Severe weather on the map today on an isolated basis here in Kansas, right? Okay, that's where we have it today. Tomorrow, sort of the same general area with a little bit of an arc back in the panhandle of Texas where we could see thunderstorms form along the dry line, but that front's going to come through. A couple of waves running across the north going to help to provide some cooling aloft, and that's going to work with some moisture return coming out of the Gulf to set the stage for a few thunderstorms, just an isolated thunderstorm or two with wind or hail possible over the next 3 days. Across Kansas and Oklahoma and the border here, looking at probably a little bit of a better threat as we get into Friday. And then beyond Friday is when we really start to pick things up here as we head into the weekend. All right, so day 4, this is Saturday, watching severe weather break out here in the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. By the time we get into day 5, the reach expands a little bit to the east to cover quite a bit of an area here in the southern plains from Texas up into Kansas, from Wichita down toward just east or west rather of San Antonio and places like that, okay, in Austin. So this is what we're looking at as we head through the weekend, and this just gets more and more prevalent as the flow pattern changes. We're going to take a look at all of that right now, what's setting the stage for this, and how this is all coming together right now. All right, before we get into the specifics of the severe weather setup, wind is a problem again today and probably tomorrow across parts of the country. We're going to take a look at who's going to see the biggest wind gust over that time period. But first, if you are new and haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below and join us for all the fun and excitement at one of the fastest growing weather channels on YouTube. Leave a like, and most importantly, if there's anything I can be in prayer about for you, please put it in the comment section. Let me know where you're commenting from too. We give glory to God for all that we are and all that we have and all that we can do on this channel, as well as look at the weather. And certainly you support me by watching, and I want to support you by praying for whatever is important in your life. So thank you so much for your support. Now we're going to take a look at the wind, and this morning, late in the morning, this is 11 a.m. East Coast time, we're looking at winds gusting into the 50s, Montana into parts of the Dakotas, 40s around that, and over here into the plains, looking at some gusts into the 30s and 40s as well. And this will persist through much of the day as that storm system moves to the east across the Canadian border. And as it does so, it will bring the wind with it out ahead along a cold front and then in behind it as well. Okay, so we're looking at wind that will eventually die down as we get into 8 p.m. East Coast a little bit. Of course, across the lakes, you don't have the land friction, so winds are going to be higher over the lakes. And then as we head on in toward tomorrow, let's just advance this along a little bit faster and we can see what happens as we get into tomorrow. There's your wind back from the Great Lakes back into northern Texas. And it's not going to be nearly as bad tomorrow, but still gusty in those areas from the corridor, northern Ohio back into North Texas. So be on alert for some gusty, breezy conditions. South Florida, you're looking at a little bit of wind. You probably can't see it all that well. There it is. Not too much in northern Maine as well, gusting into the 20s. So just keep that on your radar. Now, severe weather, though, is going to be a problem as we head through the next several days. Part of the reason in the near term it is because of this system moving up here, lowering heights and bringing some cooler temperatures aloft through the central plains. You can see those heights kind of coming down as these lines bend to the south a little bit. That is troughing. Another one is hot on its heels. That's going to push through the Great Lakes, well, north of the Great Lakes, and stay north of the border as it drags a cold front through. That cold front, you can see the parallel flow or the lines like this. They are parallel and sort of run west to east as these systems move across the north to bring some cold air with them, but they're also setting up a cold front, sort of sets a boundary up along that axis right there. And so you've got chilly air to the north, warm air to the south, and at least in the short term, sort of a zonal flow with these little perturbations coming through. That's going to help instigate showers and thunderstorms Thursday afternoon, sort of in those same areas that we already saw the severe weather threat. And then Friday, we start to see a little bit more in the way of severe weather breaking out as a new system begins to emerge into the southwest. And look what happens by the time we get into the weekend. We've kind of looked at this. The models are not wavering from this. We have that system offshore. It is beginning to push in like this. Southerly flow out ahead of it sets our flow pattern. Instead of west to east, now it's more southwest to northeast. And there's our ridge across the eastern portion of the country, acting as sort of a blocker for precipitation southeast of this line, with the exception potentially of Florida. All of our flow is going to go this way. And these little systems coming in around that big low pressure in the flow they're going to act on the atmosphere, bring cooling aloft, lift, act on returning moisture. We get those southerly winds, moisture's coming back up out of the Gulf, increases instability, and you're going to see that rise through the week, into the weekend, into early next week. And this pattern is going to kind of lock in place a bit for a few days. There is our Cape this afternoon. Not a lot, but enough to get the job done and creating a few showers and thunderstorms today and again tomorrow afternoon. Builds a little bit stronger, and then in the same areas that we saw the severe weather threat, again isolated in nature tomorrow. And as we get into Friday afternoon, a little bit more robust moisture return, a little bit more cooling aloft, allows stronger instability to develop. And by the time we get into Saturday afternoon, look at this. We've got instability beginning to extend all the way up into the plains. So probably going to see some showers and thunderstorms, though the severe weather threat is going to be confined a little bit farther to the south where the energy is in the flow. And again, on Sunday afternoon and evening, we've got a lot of more instability, a lot of brighter colors beginning to show up Sunday into Monday. These brighter colors are stronger instability and better moisture now making it up through much of the central U.S. And so those are where our severe weather threats are going to be. If you look at the lightning production this afternoon, There it is, across Kansas. So a few thunderstorms popping up over here. That will diminish as the heating of the day diminishes also. And then again tomorrow, by tomorrow morning, early afternoon, we're seeing thunderstorms pop up across Kansas and Nebraska. And then tomorrow evening, we really see things start to fire off here in the panhandle of Texas, up into Oklahoma, into Kansas, where the severe weather threat is, at least on an isolated basis. A few thunderstorms popping up into Mexico and Colorado as well, South Texas. That'll all kind of wane as, again, we lose the heating of the day. Friday afternoon, really starting to see things pop off in and around Kansas and Oklahoma, where those states border. So again, watch out for severe weather. We might even see an upgrade here if this kind of persists. Just don't have a lot of wind shear aloft, a lot of strong dynamics to really kick off a major severe weather threat. So it may just stay isolated, but we will watch this over the next couple of days. And then as we get into Saturday and Sunday, really seeing things fire off Saturday afternoon, especially down here in Texas. That's where the strongest lift is going to be. So that's where we expect the greatest severe weather threat. And then as we get into Sunday, look at this big squall line setting up here eventually as we go through the day. And that will head through Dallas and then into eastern Texas, into parts of Arkansas, Louisiana, through the nighttime hours on Sunday. So it's going to be an active period. That is the takeaway here, my friends. Pay attention, stay weather aware as we head through the next several days into next week. Threat continues to be on the increase. High temperatures this afternoon, warmest across the south, but 70s punching into the Great Lakes. High pressure wedging down the east, going to keep us cold relative to normal. That's not really cold, but it is going to be in the 60s all the way down in here to South Carolina. 30s tonight up into parts of the mid-Atlantic. Still expected to see 20s and 30s up into New England, which is why we don't have freeze advisories and alerts up there, but not so much down here in the mid-Atlantic. Cold across the north. That is temperatures overnight tonight. As we head out the door tomorrow, going to be warming up. Still chilly along the East Coast where we've got wedging, but 80s and 70s across much of the nation outside of the northern plains. That persist through Friday. There's that cold front. Can you pick that out? It's pretty easy to see with cool temperatures to the north, 80s and 90s to the south of there. As we head into Saturday, really warm across the north. There's that cold front just continuing to linger, but we begin to get a return flow, and temperatures will be warming up in the plains as we get a big time southerly component to our flow pattern starting on Saturday, Friday into Saturday into Sunday, with big time warm-up returning to much of the east and keeping you nice and really relatively chilly out west, relative to normal at least a little bit. So as we head into the weekend, okay, the end of the weekend to start next week. Big picture view, there goes the system across the north today. Florida looking at some rain, a few showers through the Ohio Valley, a couple of snow showers, Dakotas, Minnesota, as we head in through Thursday evening into the overnight hours. There's our frontal boundary setting up with thunderstorms beginning to fire off Friday afternoon into Oklahoma and Kansas. A few showers working through the Ohio Valley and into the northeast. More energy coming into California. Going to see some rain pick up out in California and in the south. And as we head into Saturday afternoon, looking at showers and thunderstorms, big line of thunderstorms setting up Sunday as we close our weekend down here in Texas and across the north and over into the west as well. High pressure in control, big ridge setting up over the southeast, keeping the Tennessee Valley, the southeastern states, into the mid-Atlantic, and even up here in the northeast. Not too shabby this weekend in terms of sensible weather, not looking at a lot of precipitation in those areas to end the weekend. As we look way on out in time, some things are going to change and some things are going to stay the same. Here is the 500 millibar pattern map. This is starting Monday, all right? Ridge here in the east, trough out in the west, flow between those two southwesterly, all right? As long as you have that in the springtime, we're looking at severe weather and potentially a heavy rain threat kind of in between the ridge here and the trough like that. Okay, so that's what we're looking at in terms of severe weather and all of that stuff. Now watch this happen. Watch what happens as we put this into motion. That ridge continues to persist along the east coast with troughing continuing to persist out west. This is next Wednesday, next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, ridging in a broad sense still across the east with general troughing across the west and southwest that keeps the flow trajectory out of the southwest. When you have a southwesterly flow trajectory, moisture is injected into the pattern. And again, we're looking at an ensemble mean, and that sort of tends to smooth out the weather pattern. So there could be some periods of amplification within what appears to be on the ensemble mean, 51 member model suite kind of averaged together. You could see a few periods of amplification within that tranquil looking pattern. But when you have flow out of the southwest like this, moisture is continuing to stay in the pattern. If you get a little piece of energy moving through, you can get showers and thunderstorms almost anywhere. Taking a look at the precipitation anomalies over the next couple of weeks, run this out. There we have it. Biggest footprint of rain from central Texas up into Wisconsin and Michigan. And that continues to persist, though we start to see parts of the southeast begin to pick up some rain out in time. As that ridge dampens out a little bit, some of these cold fronts may make it a little bit farther to the south and to the east. A little bit of rain activity in and around the Intermountain West out into the Rockies. Heavier rains along the California coast up into the northwest. Those are the areas that look to pick up the lion's share of the rain over the next 2 weeks. So unfortunately, not a ton of relief for drought conditions. Those will continue to worsen in the southeast and parts of the southwest up into the Intermountain West as well. The way it looks now, hopefully as we get on into later in the spring, El Nino takes over and we begin to see some activation of that subtropical jet on a more semi-permanent basis. 8 to 10 day or 6 to 10 day forecast, highest anomalies here in the east and a little bit chillier across the north. 8 to 14 day, pretty much the entire nation is looking at above normal temperatures. If we look out to weeks 3 and 4, well, we get a little bit of a back off. The way it looks right now across much of the north, southeast, and the northwest, still the west really above normal in terms of the signal. If we take a look at the 1 month, this is for April, averaged out. Look at that, very warm. And over the 3-month period, not a lot of relief. Potentially, the ridge backs up to the west. So we will see if that eventually plays out or not. But it's fun to look at and interesting to see how these things kind of turn out as we go through the period. Taking a look at those same periods for precipitation, 6 to 10 day footprint here is in the middle portion of the country, as we just saw, with a little bit of a increased signal out to the west as well, dry in the southeast. 8 to 14 day, the dryness backs off as we begin to see some of those fronts hopefully push a little bit farther to the south, a little bit of a better signal for moisture out west. 3 to 4 week period, the biggest signal for above normal precipitation is here in parts of the southern plains and a little bit of the desert southwest, the eastern sections of it anyway. 1 month, not looking great. This is for the month of April, and we already kind of know what the pattern looks like for the month of April. Not great for southeast and the southwest and the west. And as we head to the three-month period, so this is April, May, and June, we're looking at an increased signal over the totality of that time period here in the east for precipitation and below normal precipitation expected out in the west. That is the way it looks today. La Nina is fading, El Nino is coming on. It is expected to begin over the next month or so, persist throughout much of 2026, if not all of 2026. It looks like to be a strong event, which could feature a little bit of a wetter summer across parts of the south and southeast eventually, and then we'll see what happens during winter in terms of how it's configured. That matters and it has bearing on the pattern. So that is that for the weather. The only other thing I thought was cool to show you is the sun. Look at our sun. This is the last 48 hours on our star, and it popped over to the right again. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes it does not do that. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me try one more time to do it this way. I'll start it into motion, and then we will do it this way. There we go. Now we got it in motion. We can actually see what's going on. We've got one coronal hole stream turning, one coronal hole that has been turning toward us. It is now moving away. Another coronal hole is headed toward us as well. Those tend to shoot out particles, and a plasma stream toward the Earth can put us in minor geomagnetic storm conditions. The bigger things are sunspots, and those are the bright little areas showing up. They're kind of around the limb. You can see them better as they turn around. Another bright spot is expected to turn toward us as we continue to progress over the coming days. So more sunspots are on their way inbound, and it's just a cool little animation. You can see some of the little filaments snapping off here and little umbras that are kind of coming up like this, where the magnetism is close together. And so fun to watch. These are things that impact our weather or our space weather conditions as solar flares come off and coronal mass ejections happen. None of that's going on now, just a few coronal holes in the picture. And that's it, my friends, for today. I will be back again tomorrow with another video. Hope it's been an enjoyable show for you, and I hope you have a wonderful hump day. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you back tomorrow morning. That's when you watch. If you're watching in the afternoon, I'll see you back tomorrow afternoon or evening. Take care. Have a great day. God bless.